At 2 a.m., in the pitch-black sky over the Persian Gulf, an Israeli Air Force F-35 Lightning fighter takes off in deadly silence. No signals are received from the aircraft, and no radar is able to identify it. This fighter, known as the world's most advanced stealth aircraft, has a mission to conduct a secret reconnaissance flight over one of Iran's important strategic facilities. Inside the cockpit, everything seems normal. The electronic warfare systems are activated, and the sensors show no signs of danger. But suddenly, the warning siren sounds. The display screen turns red, and a warning appears that the radar is locked onto the fighter. The pilot shouts in amazement, "This is impossible! We are not even within the range of enemy radars. What is happening?" But the truth is different. Kilometers away, an Iranian air defense system is slowly locking onto the target. Iranian electronic warfare has rendered the F-35 stealth ineffective. The pilot tries to change course, but something that should never happen appears on the screen. A surface-to-air missile is approaching. The pilot frantically tries to mislead the missile by performing evasive maneuvers. But this missile is more than just an ordinary missile. A hypersonic missile with multi-spectral guidance and artificial intelligence, specifically designed to hunt stealth fighters. Has the era of F-35 dominance come to an end? And how will Iran succeed in tracking this so-called invisible fighter? Are we witnessing a change in the balance of power in the skies? Are F-35s no longer safe? The F-35 is a stealth fighter that is called a stealth masterpiece. In recent years, this fighter has been considered an asset for the US and Israeli air forces in modern warfare. This fighter can hide from many radars due to its unique technology and radar-absorbing coating design. However, in recent years, Iran has developed advanced air defense systems that it claims can render this feature ineffective. By investing in low-frequency radars, artificial intelligence processing algorithms, and electronic warfare, Iran has created a serious threat to fifth-generation fighters. But now the question arises, how has Iran reached a point where it can track or perhaps even shoot down an F-35 in the future? Some Iranian officials and media claim that 100 F-35s can't do anything, and that the Islamic Republic is powerful today. Although these statements are somewhat propagandistic, they reflect Iran's growing confidence in its defense capabilities. But the main question is, how has Iran become a threat to stealth fighters, to the point that Israelis do not even enter Iranian borders to attack Iran and fire their missiles from outside the borders? It seems that the reason for this is that they know that if they enter Iranian territory, they will be identified by radars and perhaps targeted by missiles. The first is multi-spectral radars, the nightmare of stealth fighters. One of Iran's most important advances is the development of multi-spectral and low-frequency radars. Stealth fighters such as the F-35 are designed to hide from high-frequency radars X-band, but are vulnerable to low-frequency radars UHF and VHF. By using this technology, Iran has been able to reduce the effects of stealth. In practice, this is what everyone in the world knows, that these fighters have some weakness against the UHF and VHF bands, and they can be easily identified if these bands can be strengthened. Examples of these radars in Iran are the Mirage 4 radar, a long-range radar that has the ability to detect stealth targets well, and the Dara radar, a low-frequency radar with the ability to identify targets at distances of more than 100 kilometers. The next case is electronic warfare and disruption of fighter communications. Iran has also focused on electronic warfare, EW systems. Advanced systems such as the Sepabad system, which can disrupt F-35 communication links, and the Noor-Afshan system, which is used to create interference on enemy navigation and radar systems. These systems can not only disrupt communication between fighters and command centers, but also disrupt the fighter's radar warning systems and put the pilot in a confusing situation because its system malfunctions. And the next case is the use of reconnaissance and hunter drones. Another new tactic of Iran is the widespread use of drones to track and identify stealth fighters. Iran has developed drones that can identify hidden fighters using infrared sensors and optical imaging. For example, the Gaza drone is equipped with advanced sensors for identifying and tracking aerial targets, and the Shahab drone is able to send accurate coordinates of enemy fighters to air defense systems. But here another question arises. Has the era of American air superiority come to an end? Western military analysts are concerned that the F-35 can no longer enter countries' airspace without fear of identification, as happened recently in Israel's operation against Iran, when the fighters did not enter Iranian territory and had to fire their missiles from a distance. Perhaps it can now be said that they have had their effect. Yes, that's quite right, but if the war becomes attrition and prolonged, they will no longer be able to enter Iranian territory, so they have to engage in remote conflicts, which also have many limitations and face problems. So this case of firing from outside is very effective in ordinary conflicts, but it is detrimental to them in wars and attrition conflicts. This change could mean increasing the operating costs of the U.S. military to ensure the safety of its fighters, or limiting F-35 missions in areas with advanced air defense systems, and increasing the need to develop sixth-generation fighters with more advanced technologies to counter these threats. This is what Western military analysts are worried about. But there is another important factor that could fundamentally change the future of air combat: artificial intelligence and automation in defense systems and fighter jets. Current trends indicate that not only defense systems, but even sixth-generation fighters will increasingly rely on autonomous technologies and artificial intelligence. For example, the U.S. Air Force's NGAD, Next Generation Air Dominance Program, which is intended to replace the F-22, focuses specifically on artificial intelligence capabilities and cooperation with advanced drones. In contrast, Iran has also shown that it has invested seriously in the field of artificial intelligence and machine learning to optimize air defense and electronic warfare systems. The development of advanced signal processing software, radar data analysis, and increased command and control network capabilities can increase Iran's ability to counter air threats. This means that in the future, fighters like the F-35 may face not only hypersonic missiles or multi-spectral radars, but also systems that can automatically analyze the behavior of enemy fighters and make tactical decisions in real time. It should also be remembered that future conflicts will not be limited to confrontations between military hardware. Cyber warfare and information operations have become an integral part of modern warfare. Disrupting command and control systems, hacking fighters, or even using cyber operations to influence strategic decisions are among the methods that can change the battlefield. Given this reality, perhaps in the future, a country's ability to achieve air superiority will not depend only on the strength of its military hardware, but also on its mastery of cyber warfare and information control. Ultimately, the question is whether stealth fighters like the F-35 can still dominate the battlefield, or is a new era dawning in which stealth alone is no longer enough? The future of air combat is moving toward a combination of new technologies, automation, and unprecedented coordination between defensive and offensive systems. Perhaps in the next decade, stealth fighters will give way to smarter, more flexible combat systems, where not just equipment, but data and the speed of its analysis will determine the fate of the war. And what will the future hold? Can Iran completely challenge American air superiority with these advances? Or will Washington find a way to circumvent these threats by upgrading its technologies? One thing is quite clear. No fighter is completely safe anymore. Yes, they are safe. They perform well. They are very powerful and scary. And it cannot be said that the Iranians do not shoot them down. But what is important is that no fighter is completely safe anymore. Now, can Iran really shoot down an F-35? What do you think will be the result of a possible conflict between these fighters and Iranian air defense?